All right, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Wargame, a Red Dragon, a replay cast. Today is another 4chan 3 vs 3 tournament game. It is game number 2 out of a best of 3 between these two teams. On the right side, we have Team Epic that consists of Integer 90, Medan, and Chevron. On the left side, we have Team Filthy Casuals, Fuzzball, Red Shield, and Mbet. Now, in game number 1, if you missed that, go back and watch it. It was a really good one. And Team Epic has taken game number 1 between these two teams. Should they win again, they will move on to round 3. And should they lose, it will move on to a third game between these two. Best of 3, wouldn't you know? And now, so a little bit of an update. If you didn't watch the last video, Stream Snipers, Wardong, and Team A and Z will be moving it on to round 3 in the 4chan 3 vs 3 tournament, and whoever wins this best of 3 will also be moving on to round 3 in the 4chan 3 vs 3 tournament. So this is the last game in round 2 at the moment. Also, last game, I have Integer 90's deck that he used last game in the description, and in this description will be Fuzzball's deck, and it was the decks that they used last game, not necessarily this one. So if Fuzzball uses a different deck this game than he did last time, well, I don't know. It was, I'm putting up in the description the decks that they used last game. So if you guys want to check those out, you can just scoop those up, copy, and import them into Wargame and try out their decks if you would like. Now we're going to speed this on up. All the units come out. It is Apocalypse Imminent, and a map that well, I haven't played in a long time. I actually kind of stopped playing this map because I kind of dislike the bridges on the map, but still a pretty good map regardless. Daps now moving forward, defending the town line here from the incoming Red 4, and they get totally wasted, and the OH1 Ninjas get totally wasted as well. So Team Epic off to a good start. We're going to leave this on 2x, I think, for now. Until at least all the units come up and some big action starts to occur. Tiger and K-52 chasing each other away there. And looks like we have some aircraft trying to get around the side there. And could not do that. The K-52 blocking them from doing that. Lots of stingers aboard those helicopters, though. Now BTR-90s, Zalo trying to get through here, and going to be dropping off troops at the end and at that little town line there. Now a battle occurring here, and trying to push in Marines and Buntai 90 into the town line. However, Team Epic got there first, and the Mott Schutzen and LSTRs are already in the line there. Z9A taken out there, and tons of helicopters falling and engaging each other right at the start there. And ZDF 89's pushing forward. And ZTZ 88's as well. And the Maru Shiki gonna finish it off. Those ZTZs pretty easily here. 20 armor and that 22 AP power of the Shiki. And so far, neither side having an advantage, all capturing the same amount right off the bat. And now these helicopters did not push forward. I would have expected them to have pushed forward a little while ago. That probably been their better bet to do so, and could have easily taken out that K-52 and these Z9As with all those stingers on board. Be able to overpower them pretty easily. Buratino now firing away. And F1's flying overhead here, going to be dropping all over the place, and hits that Buratino hard with a ton of firepower there, and it is a massive crater in the ground now. Buratino is long gone. Osa's pushing forward here. And back to 2x momentarily. Rifleman trying to push into the town. Just 3 men. And I don't think that's going to happen there. So now Team Epic has a pretty strong advantage on this map, holding Delta like that. As you can see, both sides really have the same amount of territories and cost of territories, if you will, +2 and +2, etc. So Delta's really the deciding force in this game, in this match, and on this map. As even if you have all of your side and your opponent has all of his side, then Delta's really the deciding factor on the map. And now both sides, a fairly stale matter going on here. Both sides just chilling. And neither side really wanted to push forward, which I don't blame them, because this is apocalypse imminent. And I used to play this map a lot, actually. My friends and I would play this map all the time, trying to learn it and be the best, you know, at this map. And then eventually it just sort of fell out of favor between all of us, because it honestly is a sort of a frustrating map, if you will. Really, Delta is the deciding factor in this map. And so most of the action occurs over here. So really, if you're sort of the one tasked with going left, or even center for that matter, you have a very, very boring time, because going over these bridges is pretty much suicide. Can it be done? Yes, it can be done. But it is basically suicide for the most part. You have to smoke to get over these bridges, but even if you smoke, it's still hard, because there's just so much territory you have to smoke. You'd have to smoke all the way across here at the very least to be able to push across, and basically it ends up being total suicide, because there's a town here and a town here. So if you push over this way, you get hit by everything in the town. All the Guru here, the RPG-26s, totally destroy you. And if you push across the other way, then there's two towns right here, which is, I would say, even worse, as they're so close. Now the Jaegers would totally decimate anything that moves over there, so you definitely wouldn't have a good time. Now, if you pushed a lot of things over there, well, you can certainly get the job done doing that, but then you just risk getting hit by a bombing run of some sort. CEV now pushing up here, and Humvees were trying to push across the way there to try and get over the bridge, but can't happen. All the BMP3s are launching rockets from downtown here. Now the ZDF 89's launching as well. And so many BMP3s firing away. Very hard to get anything done with all of them on the ground. So many. I can't even believe how many BMPs and various vehicles are spread out across the way here. And I think air power is going to be the only way to really take this all out. He does have OSAs back here, and OSAs are fairly not the greatest, but he does have the more expensive OSAs. But when you start stacking a whole bunch of OSAs together, then it starts to get pretty good, especially when you have all these three. And these are the AKMs, so a bit better than the others. And just so many BMP3s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At least 6. There's another one now. And dropping off additional motor stroke here. Now going to bring them all up to the edge of the line here. And these are pretty much just bait troops right now. And just waiting for tanks or something like that to start winding up shots and trying to fire at these motor stroke and such. And then he's just going to hit them all with ZDF 89s and or BMPs. So many missiles firing here and taking out anything that gets even close, and this is very interesting to say the least. And here comes some of the artillery barrages fired down at those BMPs, but really don't get anything. And the M10 6A2s firing away, mortars coming on in and blasting away at the wood line here. Gonna have to move that OSA. Urals are all spread out to resupply all these BMP-3s with missiles so they can just push forward and launch. The CEV is going to be in trouble now, and the LAV-25 might be spotted as well. And now the CEV totally destroyed there. No chance. BMP's just going to be backing up again and replacing those missiles that were lost. And as you can see, nothing really happens on this side of the map because it's just so hard. It's usually just not worth your time to actually assault this side of the map. Sometimes you can get lucky and get around all the way around the side like that, but overall, it's just simply too easy to defend this area here on the map, and thus you can't really push across. Neither side can push across. You can, it can be done, but typically you lose out a lot. HQ7 is now up here as well. And I'm kind of surprised I don't see a bunch of Russian OSAs back here, the really cheap ones. I do see the AKM OSAs, but the real cheap Russian OSAs are actually really good. And now there's an MI6 up here, and this is sort of unnecessary, as there's all these Urals, although the Urals don't hold all that much compared to the MI6, but now bringing the MI6 here as well to provide even more missiles. And now here comes the smoke from Team Filthy Casuals, trying to smoke up the area here and prevent those missiles from going off on those BMP-3s and the ZTZs. Or the ZDFs, rather. One letter off. Nana Shiki C's moving across the way now. Tons of them. 40 cost tanks, very low cost tanks, but going to be moving across in bulk here. Now LVTPs with Marines moving across the way as well. Shimaro Shiki moving an M1A2 behind the mix here. Now bringing out all the good stuff in the M1A1 as well. However, that A2 takes a good shot there, stuns it. All those Shikis were destroyed by a gigantic bombing run. And this map, sometimes I feel that this map just shouldn't be a competition map. Although I suppose competition is competition either way. I just feel that this map is a little stale, if you will, just because Delta's really the focus point, and it's such a small focal point that you can get away with doing this, like BMP-3s like this, and just massing them and firing rockets. Not to say that that is not a moral thing to do or a cheap thing to do. It's certainly doing the job right now. It definitely is doing the job right now, but it just really, this is one of the only maps you can really get away with doing this on, just because you have this river in front of you and you really can't get around this way. And obviously you can't flank this way either without just losing your whole force instantly. SU-122 set up over this way. Looks like most of the Urals were destroyed at some point. But now LKV's moving on in. I'm going to be supplying up all these BMPs again with rockets. And just really can't bring in anything that can actually take this out. And I suppose you could make a deck that could take this out here, but I'm assuming that would probably be a support deck would probably be the best bet, and just really pounding this whole area with artillery all game long to try and take out all these BMP-3s and these rocket chuckers, if you will. Because bringing heavy armor through here is not going to happen, because the BMP-3s will just rocket you to death. Bringing air power here will not happen because of the, well, there was OSAs and HQ7s, but after the big battle there, after the big brawl, looks like a lot of them were destroyed. I don't really see a lot of all that much anti-air now. Some scattered about, but air power will just get totally dominated here. So really, your only choice is to hit it hard with artillery. Now tons of Flak Panzers moving in. Chaparral, LEV Scout, and Shikis. And looks like an attack is going to be coming over to the left side here. Sort of looks like a desperate attack, if you will. Going to be moving on over. And now the push moving up here. The final push. +1 advantage. The majority of the game, of course, because of Delta. Leaving 268 to 76. Multiple Lars firing all at once here. All incoming. And going to be hitting the area here. Looks like it's going to be hitting the town. And so much firepower incoming here. And a creeping barrage hitting all over the area here. Which is a very odd place to hit if you ask me. Just is sort of a random, a very, very random hit. And really, in the end, didn't get anything. I don't think. Strella's here, stunned, all taken out by the air power. Moving across the way there. But there is two Strellas here in the wood line. Going to be firing away. And J7H flying overhead there. Takes out some of that air power. And now pushing forward with all of these BMP3s. And T-72BU moving forward as well. And a surrender from the other team, leaving Team Epic the winners of the game between Team Epic and Team Filthy Casuals now. So Team Epic will be moving on to round number 3. So the total teams that will be moving on is going to be Stream Snipers, Wardong, Team A and Z, and Team Epic in round number 3. So stay tuned for that. I will be looking out for those replays and casting that as well. But hope you guys enjoyed the replay, and I'll see you guys next time.